Hello and welcome to Tea with Mr. B with me, Mr. B. I hope you're having a wonderful summer and are staying sane and not letting the crazy world beat you. I'm lucky enough to know a little bit about today's guest and her amazing journey. It's been a long time coming. From our first few passing meetings, I was instantly intrigued to learn more about today's guest, and I am so excited to share their story. It is my great pleasure to welcome Bethaney Revard. Welcome. How are you? Yes, I can. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's absolutely wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been, what, 2 years in the making now?
That is what I was just reading on my preparation notes. I think it's nearly 2 years since I last saw you, and you deserted us from Nashville and moved to Minnesota, correct?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Good. And your dog is there giving that support of that move to Minnesota. Good. Well, I am extremely pleased and grateful that you've joined me today. And I just said in my little kind of introduction, it's been a long time coming that I've been hassling you to get this chat, and I really appreciate you finally giving in to my persuasion and my persistence. So I am extremely pleased. So thank you so much. So first of all, if you've got your mug, if you haven't, don't worry, but I've got my, oh, you have? Brilliant. Well, cheers to you. Thank you so much for that.
I guess I shouldn't tell you what's really in it, right?
Most Americans and even the odd English person has told me that it's not tea. So do not worry, I will not be offended.
Oh, well, I actually put Diet Mountain Dew in it. So.
Okay. Well, that's a new one. That's a first. I like that. Well, look, in my preparation today, I was thinking about how to introduce you, and I thought about words that I could use to describe you, and having them on the introduction credit thingy that I do. But I changed my mind, and I'm going to share them with you. And what I'd like you to do is tell me what you think. So, in my introduction, I inform people watching or listening, hopefully, that you are on an amazing journey. And I think that's an incredible one, because I know a bit more, a bit more, I assume, than most people. So the words that I use to describe you are as follows: determined, patient, positive, strong, courageous, vulnerable, and resilient. So tell me what you think of those descriptions.
I definitely think to have come as far as I have, that I think courageous is definitely a good word, because honestly, it took a lot of courage for me to even start this journey. And, because it's definitely hard. You have to face a lot of your own self-doubt and really evaluate yourself on a very personal level. So for me, in order to do that, I kind of had to face my fears head on.
Right.
Pretty much smack dab or head on. And I mean, it did, and it was scary. I mean, there's still things today that, that I go through that are scary in regards to my journey and things like that. Vulnerable is definitely, I think, a great word that describes what I've gone through too, because when I started my Instagram and started posting videos or just kind of what I was going through, it's kind of putting myself out there in a vulnerable spot to where people, of course, people on the internet like to say either positive or negative things, everything in between. And I've had everything from great comments and great support to basically the whole "you should just kill yourself" thing. I mean, that's kind of what I've experienced. And I know that I'm not the only one that has had that, because unfortunately, there's still a lot of people in our society that are very fat phobic. And that's kind of, and then you also just have people on the internet that just want to make horrible assumptions and comments for people in regards to, their own journey. So I think those two definitely describe me probably the best. So
Okay.
I think you did a good job.
Oh, good. Well, hey, it's the first that I'm doing a good job, so I appreciate that. But you know, I've mentioned journey a few times, and you've mentioned it a few times. So, uh, do us a favor. Tell us about your journey. Tell everyone. I say everyone. I'm thinking that there's a massive audience listening. I hope so. But please share what your journey is, and then we'll get into the other bits shortly. I'd love to hear you tell me.
So when I started my journey, I finally kind of hit that point where like I just didn't feel good with myself. Just like walking around or walking outside, I was tired a lot. I ended up going and having a physical, ended up having to be put on like blood pressure medicine and things like that. And I didn't realize like how much weight I had gained in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then when I really sat down and evaluated like what's going on, I realized I was a binge eater.
Okay.
So what I did was I had a great doctor that helped me along the way, who kind of pushed me like, well, why don't you go see a nutritionist? They usually want you to write like a food journal for like a week and be completely honest. And then you two can sit down and take a look at it. So that was my first like step was writing in a food journal. And I kid you not, it was very eye-opening for me because by the time I went and saw the nutritionist, she was like, I want you to keep doing the food journal, but I also want you to add in like your emotions at the time you ate. Like, did you work? Did you like work out? Like, what activity were you doing like around the time? And so what we had begun to notice was, being a nurse, I work quite a bit, long hours, and sometimes don't get a lunch like right away.
Yeah.
And then in that time, it's always this hurry up and eat type thing. Well, what we were noticing was like I wasn't eating much like during kind of the day. And when I get home, I'd be tired, hungry, and I'd binge eat.
Right.
So, and I think over the course of years, it just became this very unhealthy relationship with food. So then I kind of equated that as like I needed to restrict myself and like cut out things that I even loved. Well, of course, that didn't go very well. So it was definitely a learning curve. I learned quite a bit about myself and quite a bit about how I needed to approach like food and eating and activity. So weightlifting was definitely something that I enjoyed getting into because once I picked up a barbell, I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty strong.
Yeah, I know that for sure. I've seen you.
It gives you that feeling of like that my body is capable of these amazing things.
Right.
And it's not just about like, how I look or what I weigh. It's literally the barbell doesn't judge.
Okay.
The barbell, you pick as you pick the barbell up and you either lift it or you don't.
Right.
Like it doesn't, it has no judgment in regards to who you are or why you're even lifting it up.
Okay.
So for a while there, I had struggled in the beginning. There was times where I was restricting way too much and then I didn't feel great. And then I finally found a balance of like, okay, I can still have like I'm a huge like bread person, right? I can still have like bread and things like that and put it in my like daily, like macros and things like that. So that's kind of what I did. And then eventually, in the beginning, I was losing quite a bit of weight relatively fast, which is kind of the norm for most people. But then as it slowed down, that's when it gets difficult because then you're like, what am I doing wrong?
Okay.
And then I felt like I was becoming a little obsessed with like the scale because it wasn't moving as quick as I wanted, or sometimes not in the right direction. It would, when I was lifting and things like that. So my weight was up and down, depending the time of the day, things like that. So I had to really step away from the scale too.
Okay.
But I'm happy because I can probably say I haven't binged in a few years now, actually.
Okay.
So that's to me, that's a huge step and a great goal to achieve. Most
congratulations.
Yeah, most people, it just doesn't happen, you know.
And what's really incredible for me is knowing the heaviest weight that you were. And I wonder if you are okay to share that with
Oh yeah.
I keep saying everyone, like there's a flipping audience here. There's not. I wonder if you're able to share that, because I think I've got the figure in mind, and I've told my wife, family, and friends, and they're astounded. So with all of this, I can only imagine, and I think I'm right, that the emotional roller coaster aspect of this journey that you're on is something that I don't think I could get my head around. And, you know, it's another highlight or identification that you're a pretty tough badass. I might say badass, but badass sounds better. So please, I'm talking rubbish now, but tell me about your heaviest weight.
The heaviest weight that I was at was 476. And I think that there's a video that I posted on my Instagram of when I was working out with Matt.
Yep.
And we loaded the sled
at
that weight, and I had to push that weight.
Yeah.
It was I should say I had to. I had the opportunity to push it and did it. I think that's a better clarification. And I think that video is on there because I had never been comfortable about sharing that, like not even with Matt. You know, and he never had like pressured me into like sharing that or anything. He knew I would when I was ready.
Yes.
And then for some reason that day, I was just ready to be like, I want to take this number because this number doesn't define who I am and what I'm capable of.
Yes.
And so for me, it was more of a, not just a physical accomplishment, like pushing that much weight on a sled, but it was more of like the mental barrier. For me, it was showing that I could push through that mental barrier, that number was holding me back.
Yeah.
Like that number was, you know, following me, you know, day in and day out, reminding me like, hey, you know, this is what happened. And, you know, we're still not doing well. You know, you're not good enough, you know, just all like self-doubt and things like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a huge breakthrough when I was able to like being able to like tell people like that's how much I weighed, and then being able to push it on the sled, like it's gone, like it's done. It doesn't define me.
Yes.
And I'm never going to go back there. So that's kind of where
Wonderful. And again, congratulations. And that's the number that I had down. And I've watched that video more than once, more so as I've done my preparation for today, but also around the time that it happened. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it was an emotional time.
Yeah, I think nothing about my journey has not been. I think every part of it's been emotional, whether it's been like, you know, very happy, very excited or ecstatic about my progress.
Yes.
Or whether it's just been like, you know, can I actually keep doing this? You know, am I good enough to like lift this weight? Am I good enough to like compete in strongman? You know, am I good enough to like be in the actual fitness community, calling myself an athlete, you know? Because there's also people out there that would say that I'm not an athlete because you know, I'm quote unquote, I guess, still overweight. And like I haven't competed in, you know, some time as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like that term is more about like, I do consistently train. I do lift my weights. I train to better myself. I just think my goals have changed a little bit. It's not so much, you know, that I want to lift, you know, couple 100 pounds on the bar. It's more of like, okay, can I deadlift and like with great technique, and my back doesn't bother me, my hip doesn't bother, my knee doesn't bother me. It's all these like progress things. And then you know, and then fixing my balance after I had my knee surgery was a huge issue for me. I lost a lot of my balance after that surgery, unfortunately. And it's something I still work on today. I work on a lot of like unilateral movement in order to fix my balance. So
Yeah.
for me, it helps me in the long run because I enjoy hiking and walking, and I do it with no pain. I do it kind of with ease, and it's fun. I don't have to worry that I'm, gonna slow everybody down.
Right. Brilliant.
Um, yeah, so I think that that's one thing. I mean, and will I ever compete again? It's still up in the air.
Of course you will. Come on now.
Well, it's more of like it's me having to make the decision to actually do it. So, because when I was training for my first competition, when I ended up injuring my knee, I mean, I don't think people realize I was training like 5, 6 days a week, twice a day, most days, to become stronger and in order to do the events and things like
Yeah.
that. And I did get stronger. I just put a lot of stress on my body that in the end, was too much for it, unfortunately.
So when I used those descriptive words earlier, with determined being the first one, and that's a really important one, isn't it? Because you are determined, and it's obvious. You just told us you've been working 5 or 6 days a week when you were training, and you were doing it twice a day, and it's just incredible. And I have no doubt that you are going to compete. And what's interesting for me is that what you mentioned about an athlete label and going to work out, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were going along the lines of, well, will I kind of be accepted in a gym scenario if I go and work out? And it's a weird kind of perception, isn't it? Because I think we generally think, well, I'm going to get looked at if I go to the gym, if I'm looking this way or doing it that way or whatever. But generally, I think, in my experience, there's just encouragement. It's like, yes, come on. And that's that community. And it's like the opposite of how you imagine it will be. Excuse me. If you think about, I don't know, bodybuilders and what's that beach in LA where they're outside looking fantastic. You think they're only going to talk to you if you look like them, and it's not the case at all. Everyone's just happy that someone's working out and giving it a go, and you are certainly giving it a go more than anyone. In fact, I spoke to Matt McQuiston, and he stars, should I say, in a lot of your Instagram videos, and I am aware of the support that he's provided you. But I'd like to learn a little bit about how you would describe Matt, what his support has contributed to your experience. And before you do that, Matt told me that you didn't miss a workout when you had that serious injury. I think it was your knee injury, wasn't it? Or was it your hip?
Yep, I had the knee injury, and then I had the back injury shortly after that. Yeah.
Right. So he told me that you didn't miss a workout, and the workouts were put together where you would go around that.
Yep.
And ultimately, Matt's point to me was he noticed that nothing was going to slow you down. And I've written it down, and I'm looking because I want to make sure I've got it right. Your mentality for going through all of that process is the badass Beth that he knows.
Oh yeah, yes.
And it's brilliant. So what are your thoughts on Matt? Tell me how you would talk about Matt for no one that would, or anyone that doesn't know him.
Honestly, and I guess I might be a little biased just because I know him and I worked out with him for so long. But Matt genuinely is a wonderful human being, inside and out.
Yep.
I would send anybody to him because he's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, there was never one time where I felt like he was judging me because of my weight. And I cannot stress that enough, like being a fat person and like wanting to like learn how to weight lift appropriately or going to like a gym, that there's always there's a stigma that, oh, fat people are lazy.
Right.
And it's not, and I hate it because it's just not true. As Matt told you, I never missed a workout. No. Even after my surgery, I was right back. And I think there's a video I was doing dumbbell bench.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah.
like a couple days right after my surgery.
Right.
And we just worked around it.
Right.
Granted, I couldn't do things I would have loved to do, but I still got some type of activity in
Yes.
to where I wasn't just sitting at home,
Which is easy to do.
Oh, it really is. It really is.
Yeah. How
And
many
I
people
think,
are doing it all the time, sitting at home doing
yeah,
nothing when you're up at 5,
yep,
5:30 going to work out?
yes, in
And
the snow, in the
yeah,
rain,
in the cold,
in the cold,
dressed up for
um,
Halloween.
doing burpees in a heavy jacket and hat,
5
and
layers.
thinking, why am I here? You know, but yeah, I honestly, I don't, there's not one doubt in my mind that if I wouldn't have had Matt to really teach me and help me along the way, I don't think I would have been out where I am today.
Okay.
Because in all honesty, finding him and Klug Fitness as a whole
Yeah.
was one of the best things I ever did. I can't
Yes.
stress enough to people like how wonderful they really are. And I know that they've grown quite a bit.
Oh
Like
my goodness. Yeah.
everybody wants a Klug Fitness workout now. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're not
Definitely.
easy. I will stress to anybody, they're not easy, but they will modify things for you. So don't ever feel intimidated, because that was
Yeah.
one thing when I went to the first group one. And I think I told Matt this. I was like, I'm really scared that I'm not going to be able to keep up with people and they're going to laugh at me. And then they're going to wonder why I'm there when I can't do, X, Y, Z. And he's like, Bethany, I don't think that's going to happen. It's
No.
going to be fine. You're going to be
No.
fine. And I go and I meet you and other people, and you guys were all wonderful. And I never once felt like you're all looking at me like, oh, that girl can't keep up. It was more of like, oh, like, she's like doing what we're doing, and like we're all having fun and we're all encouraging each other, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
I
go
think.
heavier, to keep going when we're tired.
Yeah.
um
I
so
think. I think doing those group workouts, to put everything in the picture, it was 6 o'clock in the morning under a bridge outside in all weathers, like we alluded to. But the
yeah.
point of the group workout, and sometimes it would be between 4 and 6 people regularly. So for me, there was a camaraderie, and it's important to share clarity that looking at you working out was a case of looking at you thinking, this lady is a machine. She is awesome. And it's just this natural rooting for each other.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. It was awful. I remember, I think I said on my interview with Kevin Klug that if I could run fast, I would slap Matt and run. Because he used to say, come on, another sprint. I'm like, what? No. And I remember him once, we did a medicine ball throw with each other, and he threw the medicine ball at me. I thought it broke my chest.
You know what? I will vouch for that, because there were so many times he would throw that medicine ball at me and I was just like, I think I can't breathe. I don't know if I'm breathing or not. Like, am I okay? I think I'm still standing up. And Matt's just like, why'd you stop? Like, let's go. It's like, I think I can't breathe. What just happened?
You crushed my chest.
Yeah. Or when Kevin would come to those, he'd be like, why are you only lifting with the 30-pound dumbbells? There's other ones over there that are heavy. I think you should go heavier. You should go heavier. Come on, let's,
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. That's great.
Yeah, thanks. If you're watching this, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. So,
thanks for calling us out.
We talked about your starting weight at 476.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a post that was unreal where Matt had got your balloons out the back of his van where you'd lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Beth, that was 18 months ago, 2 years ago. But either way,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are you at now for your weight loss? Because I think I've got an idea, but I want you to confirm.
I am officially down 193 pounds. So, yeah.
I mean, that is just absolutely. Can you? How do you compute that?
I will say, like, starting off, like the last 2 years, my weight loss had slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I can't complain because I've developed a better relationship with food and finding a balance, like still being
Right.
able to like eat, what I would like, but within reason, being able to like go out with my friends for dinner or breakfast or go to like a festival without feeling like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to eat because I don't know the calorie intake on that. And I don't know if it's within my macros.
Yeah.
So finding that balance was honestly more important to me than what was on the scale at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look back and like when I show people pictures of like my like before and like after thing, they're like, that was you? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
193 pounds is
A whole other human being,
well, it's a bit less
essentially.
than me. I think I'm 213, so it's 18 pounds less than no. Hold on. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, no, so 12 pounds. Anyway, 18 pounds less than me. That's incredible. As you know, I follow you on Instagram, and one of the posts that stuck out for me was a photo of you with a huge beaming smile, and the post read, "When someone tells you you can't do something, take that and prove them wrong every single time. Everyone has a different journey. My chapter 256 is not the same as anyone else. Keep doing you and embrace who you are." Ending with a heart emoji. Underneath that are hashtags such as my comeback story, my journey, my way, F your beauty standards, smile gain, nurses who
Yep.
lift, strong woman, progress over perfection, no quitting ever, end of fat shaming, normalize normal bodies. So, stuck out for me. What are you thinking when I read that back to you?
Well, I'm thinking somebody must have said something to me, and then I kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm just under the assumption that like if somebody tells you you can't do it, go out there and just prove them wrong because and it could be anything. It could just be that like they are not a very nice person or they can't do it themselves.
Yeah.
I think that that's one thing that I've kind of come to the conclusion like there's always going to be these negative people. And I think it's how we react to that negativity that like will
Absolutely.
kind of make the difference. So
Yeah.
I think I probably posted that in regards to like being told I couldn't do,
Oh,
because and it is my chapter 256. I'm probably on chapter 400 by now, I would think, is not the same as somebody else's. My journey is my own and it's unique just to me, as to like your journey is your own and unique to you.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that either. They look at like Instagram and
Yeah.
see people posting about this and that, and they're like, well, why can't I look like that, or why can't I do that? And the majority of the time, I mean, the way people pose can be
Oh, it's stupid, isn't
edited.
it? Yeah.
And then sometimes when they're lifting, you're like, why are they lifting like that? That's not good technique. Please
No,
don't
there's
try
many
that.
of
That looks like it hurt.
yeah, there's many of those. There's many of those on social media platforms, and I think, well, that's going to be sore when you finish that. But I love that. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It reminded me of a story that a certain somebody told me. Didn't you get noticed in an airport?
Oh, a couple of years ago, I was at I think it was the Atlanta airport.
Right.
And some lady had come up to me and she's like, "Oh, hey, are you on Instagram? Aren't you like Beth like underscore TKO?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And she's like, "Oh, I enjoy watching your like videos and stuff like that. It makes me want to like work." I think she said it's something like it makes her want to like weight lift or like work out or something like that. And I was
Brilliant.
kind of like, I'm like no one. I'm like, I am not one of these like Instagram influencers by any means. I don't have like a million followers. I don't. Like, I'm not, I don't even have 500,000. So it's, so for that to happen, that made me feel good because I was like, maybe I like helped that person,
Absolutely. And it's more of
maybe
a
feel more
quality.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a quality than quantity, isn't it? You've got a quality number
Yeah.
of people, and
Mhm.
where was she even from?
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Brilliant. I bet that must have
No.
that must have put you on cloud nine after her talking to you, because
Well, I think what it was that, like, you know, if my journey can help one person,
yeah,
then you know what? That was help that I didn't have in my journey. And if I can help somebody else, like in theirs, I'm more than happy to like do that.
I heard something on a podcast in the last couple of days about someone that's performing at a high level, and the question was, do you look at social media? And yeah, they do, but they try not to, because ultimately, if you get 1,000 positive comments, you get one negative, and you think about that one negative all the time. So how do you deal with people that are just completely idiots, really, giving that negative abuse? I'm not saying that they're idiots just because I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But what's the point? It doesn't make any sense. So how do you deal with it?
I think for a while there, I did let it get to me. It made me feel like I wasn't, you know, good enough and things like that. And I think that was one of the reasons that had pushed me so hard to compete. Because I was like, it didn't even matter if I won or not.
Yeah.
What mattered was me going out there and just showing, like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a fat person, but like I can do this too. You know, like I'm gonna do it, and you're not gonna stop me, you know,
Brilliant.
type deal. I think for me, and that was one reason why I did the Nashville Fit Games a few years ago,
Yeah.
was because to me it was showing like, hey, I'm a fat person and I'm here and I deserve to be seen for like who I am and not my weight.
Right.
And I am just as capable of doing these events as anybody else. Now, granted, did I win? No. Did I come in last place? I'm pretty sure I did, but that was fine. That wasn't the point for me though.
Right.
Like for me, I hit a lot of like my goals, which was finishing every event. Whether it took me 10 or 20 minutes to do it, but for me, it was finishing every event. And that was really what was important for me.
Good for
As
you.
far as like the negativity and things like that, I just think that, you know, trying to be like a fat person like in the fitness like industry is very hard because people automatically, no matter what you say or do, you have to be one or the other. Like for you to work out, people automatically assume you're working out because you want to lose weight and you don't like your body.
Right.
And that couldn't be, you know, further from the truth for most people. You know, everybody works out for a reason. And some people it's to lose weight, some people it's to grow stronger, some people just enjoy doing it. Like me, I enjoy doing it. I love
Yeah.
weightlifting. It's
Yeah.
fun. Um, and I really had to like take those comments and come to the realization like these people don't know me. They
No.
just assume and they're fat phobic. And unfortunately, there's still so many people in our society that are very fat phobic toward people. And I'm not
Right.
just talking like in the fitness industry, but I mean, even like me being in the nursing field, I've had to like prove myself, you know, because people think that, oh, because you're a fat person, you're stupid or you're lazy. And
Right.
that's just further from the truth.
Right.
So I really had to like prove like myself and in all these aspects of my life that
Good
like
for you.
I am a intelligent person, no, regardless of my weight. And luckily I've decided to like just surround myself, like to be around, you know, positive, supporting people too.
Right.
And that helps a lot too. You know, and it doesn't matter what anyone else has to say about my weight. Like I know what I've been through the last couple years and I know how hard I've worked to get here.
Yes.
And what I continue to do to like maintain and keep you know, moving forward.
And it's brilliant. You mentioned a bit about your career, and I know that
Yeah.
you're a nurse, but that's all I know. I don't know what kind of nursing you're doing. So what really gets me is you're achieving this amazing progress in your journey, and I know that you're going to continue to achieve amazing progress. And I know that it gets harder because, forgive me how I say this, but the more you lose weight, the harder it gets, because there's eventually getting less weight to lose. Is that right? The right way of saying it?
It's the whole like caloric like daily intake. Like as I've lost weight, my calorie results have changed. So for me to like be in a higher calorie deficit, I can't maintain that higher calorie deficit like I could in like probably the first like year of my
Right.
journey.
Okay.
Because if I don't eat enough, I don't feel great. And then if I work out and I don't eat enough, I really don't feel great. So for
Got you.
me, I've just listened to my body. And then,
Yes.
and it does slow down. And but at the same token, like I know that I'm still making progress because I can do all these amazing things in and outside the gym. So
Yeah.
it's not just a one-sided progress. So.
Yeah. So with all of that,
Mm-hmm.
you're experiencing negative feedback on your journey, but you're working in the health industry, and you've been working in the health industry for one of the most difficult times that I think the world has seen in the last couple of years. So what gets me is that you're still positive. And that's the wrong word to use during COVID, isn't it? But you still got the positive outlook. But so how?
I think because when it comes down to it, I enjoy helping people. And one thing that I can truly say is like I'm a huge advocate for my patients. Especially with like other fat people like myself and minorities. For me, I will make sure that like you get the best care because that's what you deserve. You deserve unbiasedness, and you deserve to be taken seriously in regards to your health. I'm a huge advocate, that like regardless of why you are in my emergency room, I will give you the best care because you deserve nothing less.
Brilliant.
So yeah, and COVID, I'm not gonna lie, it was very rough. We still are dealing with it. We're probably gonna deal with it for I don't even know how much longer.
Right.
But I think that your nurses out here are working hard. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And trust your nurses. We're here for the public. None of us thought we'd have to go through a pandemic the way we did. We were always trained that something could happen, like with Ebola years ago.
Yeah.
And luckily we were very lucky with Ebola that didn't turn into something. We're lucky in this country anyway that it hasn't turned into as bad as it could be. But it definitely changed my perspective too, with like end of life care. Seeing patients pass away with their family not being able there is very hard because then you as the nurse, you sit with that patient as they take their last breath. And granted, we were doing that before, but in a different manner, not on someone who we thought still had a long life to live. And we did everything we possibly could. Everything.
Right.
You became even more creative in like your interventions for people because you're like, okay, what's going on now? And like your assessment skills became better because you were like, I think this is going on with them. Why don't we try this and see if that helps? And then sometimes it helped and sometimes it didn't. But it was a very hard time, and I wish like people didn't have to see some of the things that I had to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I have 4 questions that I ask all of my guests. Okay. And I'm going to ask each one, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are. And I think I already know some of the answers, but I'm just going to ask them again. We might be repeating ourselves, but that's okay. So what frustrates you?
I think what frustrates me the most is like people who assume because I'm fat, I didn't lose weight. You know, when people look at me, they're like, oh, you lost 193 pounds, but you're still fat.
Right.
And that frustrates me because I'm like, yes, but I go to my physical and I'm healthier than a horse.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be on any medications, you know, like I'm
Yeah.
healthy. All my lab values are normal. So
Right.
I'm healthy in that regard, you know. So that's one thing that does frustrate me is like people assume like if you're still, I guess, overweight, that like you didn't actually lose weight. Like
Right.
you're not, what if they're like, you didn't really do anything, you know, type of deal. And it's like, that couldn't be further from the truth. So that frustrates me. And just regards to like the fat phobia that's still out there.
Right.
It's so, you know, along with a lot of other things, it's very sad how close-minded people are, and how they just look at a person and automatically assume that they are stupid or unworthy of, you know, of good things. And it's
Right.
just, it's very, very sad.
I thought you were going to say Man United frustrates you, but we won't go into that, Beth. All right.
Well, maybe that too.
Yeah, a little bit. So what warms your heart and makes you smile? You can't say Man United for that either.
No, we can't. No,
No.
no, not at all. I think what warms my heart is when a patient or family like says thank you to me, that like I did a good job with them. That really kind of warms my heart, because then it's like it reassures me that like I did take the best care of them and helped them, you know, whether it felt better or lessened their anxiety being in the ER, or for whatever reason, like I was able to help them. And it's honestly the best feeling in the world too.
Good.
So
And needs to happen more often, I'm sure of that. All right. What are your home improvement skills like?
I was not expecting that.
Oh, no, you weren't.
I probably not that good, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I think if I have to do anything, I have to probably look up on YouTube and find out how to do it.
That's
from
good. That's not a
people
bad
who
idea.
clearly from people who clearly know what they're doing.
Well,
So
the problem is that there's many people on YouTube that clearly do not know what they're doing. So you have to be careful when you
well, that's true.
search
Yeah,
those
well, that's
videos.
true. Like have to be careful like who you look on there. But yeah, probably not that good.
Okay. Well, thank you for your honesty. I like that. All right. The last one then is, if you could be a superhero, what would your special power be, and what would be your mode of transport?
Okay.
I bet you weren't expecting that one either.
No. I think my superpower would have to be like I think going around and being able to like have people see like their own potential and take
Ooh.
like their worries and self-doubt and anxiety away, so they
Ooh,
can
yeah.
like live the best life that they are truly like capable of. And
Oh, I
my
like
mode of
that.
vehicle, oh gosh, I guess it wouldn't be like a vehicle, it'd be like more like teleportation, because I feel like being able just to like press a button and you're wherever you want to be would be a lot easier than, you know, driving there. So
It sounds a bit like Doctor Who, but you would be Nurse Who.
kind of, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
Fantastic.
maybe a little quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, and not as scary when the Daleks are around.
Yeah.
Beth, I love it. So, really, what's next for you?
You know, the last couple of months for me have really been life-changing. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that I don't post publicly because it's very personal to me.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of like just kind of finding myself again and learning to be more independent and to kind of just like fall in love with myself again and figure out like who I am in like at this stage in my life, figuring out like, do I actually like, one thing versus another or anything like that. So I think that's kind of what's next. And then weightlifting just helps in general because I enjoy doing it. So, and then probably taking a lot more hikes. I love hiking. So
good. Well, good for you. And I'll be keen to learn your progress. And at the bottom of the screen, we're going to have your Instagram page there so people can follow. So I'm excited about that. So Beth, I was so excited to have this chat with you. It's been a long time coming and it's been an absolute pleasure because like we both said, it's nearly 2 years and we had loads of fun when we were working out. So
yes.
I really appreciate it. You've even had your mug ready, albeit with Mountain Dew in it, but that's great. So cheers to you. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I wish you all the success in your future endeavors. And I do hope that we can plan a Nurse Who movie or TV drama, because I think that would be fantastic. It'd be like a mirror of positivity that you show to people when you teleport from one place to another. So
right, yeah.
I'm so happy to learn about the insight into your world and share this. And I know that people are going to be inspired and motivated by what you shared. So thank you so much for sharing today.
You're very welcome.
I am so grateful and I wish you the best and look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun and yeah, I needed a mug for the right hand too. So I'm like, there
you go. Brilliant. I love it. Well, next time when you have a cup of tea in there, let me know.
I'll probably do coffee. I'm not I'll let you keep the tea. I've never been a tea person. That's probably why there's like pop in it right now.
That's all right. Well, I'll let you off for that. But it's been wonderful. So thank you so much. I'll check in with you soon. From Beth and I, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you soon.